please. We're balancing the needs of our employees with the needs that the government now has.
At Woodstock's Pizza, co-owner Laura Ambrose is working with her team to determine how the federal vaccination requirement or regular testing for unvaccinated employees will impact them.
For us, the challenge is that we are desperately trying to hire enough team members for all of our restaurants.
Woodstock's has 8 locations with more than 400 employees. Ambrose says they are encouraging vaccinations and more than 75% of staff have already gotten them. But that means if the order went into effect right now, about 100 employees would need to do weekly COVID testing.
We'll have to decide how we're going to handle the requirement that we have to test those employees, and I'm sure that that will be required because we're not intending to let go of people that are part of our team now.
Woodstock's HR manager, Jarrell Tolentino, says they are implementing the requirements, but still have some questions.
What do we have to do in terms of what do we collect? Can we do self-attestment verbal? Can we do self-attestment e-signatures? Do we have to do anything in general specifically? And then where do we house it? And how do we house it? And just making sure that we are very, very compliant.
President Biden says the vaccination and testing requirement applies to businesses with 100 or more employees, and those employers must give paid time for workers to get vaccinated.
We want to make sure that employers aren't going to be spending an enormous amount of money, especially during a pandemic where they've been hurting.
Jerry Sanders is CEO of the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce, which represents more than 2,500 businesses.
I think that there's a frustration that people can get vaccinated, it's safe, it's effective, and they're not doing it, and it's starting to affect a lot of others. So, I think it was a reasonable choice.
Sanders is hoping that companies won't have to bear the testing costs for unvaccinated employees, that it should be the worker or government's responsibility. He says until the requirement goes into effect, we won't know what the impact will be on an already strained labor force.
Some employees may leave, but some employees may decide it's reasonable to get vaccinated now. So, I think we won't know that trend until it really rolls out.
The new requirements will come down from the Department of Labor and OSHA, expecting to impact more than 80 million workers. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.